Personally, you don't know until you get out there, and you got to figure it out on the fly at times, and then you get more and more film sessions and things of that nature where you're able to see what you've done well, see what you didn't do so well. So that's the uncomfortable part about it.
That was LeBron at shoot-around just a little bit ago. He's preparing for his Lakers debut tonight in Portland. Trace, what version of LeBron are we going to expect to see tonight?
I mean, the version we always see, the best player in the game. I wouldn't expect anything different.
I mean, you got to think he's going to be trying to make a little more of a statement than just another year in a Cavs uniform or something like that, right? No?
He'll be motivated, but
I mean,
that's what LeBron is.
Right? It would sort of make the sort of statement that this was justified.
He's going to do what LeBron does.
Right.
I mean, just keep it that simple.
Probably be more excited on Saturday, actually.
That's true. Big game Saturday. Look at that cross-promotion with one of our network games. Chauncey is a pro. Welcome to The Jump. I am Rachel Nichols, the Hall of Famer, Tracy McGrady there on the end. And welcome back, NBA champ, Finals MVP, Chauncey
Happy to be
Phillips.
here again.
Fantastic. The season has really started now. Coming up, we got major breaking news concerning the one-and-done rule. The NBA and the G League are up in the ante, people. They're giving elite 18-year-olds a real alternative to college basketball. But first, so of all the matchups and rivalries in the NBA over recent years, one of the most lopsided has been Cavaliers-Raptors. For the past 3 seasons, the teams met in the playoffs, and for the past 3 seasons, Cleveland eliminated Toronto. Although really, eliminated is kind of putting it kindly, considering that 2 times LeBron and crew swept the Raptors, and the other year they let them win a couple games, but only because they were partying so hard that reportedly Coach Ty Lue had to lecture them to stop. What are you going to do? What do you call it that happened to everyone at the end of that Avengers movie? Yeah, like that. Exactly. That's basically what Cleveland did to Toronto. Goodbye, Dwayne Casey and DeMar DeRozan. It wasn't a surprise then that the NBA made Cavs-Raptors part of its opening week slate. This was basically set up to be a revenge game for Toronto, since, as you may have heard once or 3,000 times, the man who bullied the Raptors all those years is in LA now. And Toronto went out this summer and got a bully of its own. And make no mistake, Kawhi Leonard is a bad man when he is healthy, and last night he sure did look healthy. Of course, there was some rust and some nerves at first. We saw a raucous intro from the Toronto crowd. And then Kawhi went out, and he did miss his opening 3 shots. But hey, that didn't last long. By the second quarter, he looked as reliable as ever, and by the second half, he was doing that. He would finish with 24 points, 13 boards in his first real game in 9 months. Afterward, he was his usual chatty self, regaling the media with funny stories, describing in depth how much his leg had healed, and no, I'm just kidding. Of course, he didn't do any of that. But as we have seen since he arrived in Toronto, he was at least a little more open to talking a little bit. Here was his assessment.
I felt good. I'm happy we came out and got a win. Came out the game healthy, so it's a win-win for me.
Were you surprised to get up to 37 minutes right out of the gate?
No, not how the game planned out to be. I seen where it was going, so it wasn't a surprise.
You heard Kawhi talking there about how the game went. As expected, Toronto was in control the whole time. The Cavs did make a few runs. They even got the score within 7 with about 3 minutes to go, but they never really actually felt like a threat. And a lot of the team's general sloppiness that LeBron simply wallpapered over, you can see it now. The Cavs turned the ball over 16 times, netting the Raptors 16 points. The defense was often shaky. And 23-year-old Jetty Osman took LeBron's spot in the lineup. He did notch a double-double, but gosh, it's going to be a long season there in Cleveland. So did some of the Raptors, like Kyle Lowry, maybe possibly take some joy in watching the Cavs look so helpless? Did some of the Raptors, like Kyle Lowry, maybe possibly take some joy in watching the Cavs look so helpless? This was on the block in there for good measure. In the end, it was a cathartic outing for him and for a lot of the Raptors. And that's not to say that beating Cleveland makes their season already a success or that their goals for this year revolve around settling old scores. But for one night, opening night, it was nice to be the team doing the bullying. And they can only hope there are more of those nights to come. So, Tracy, we've now seen sort of the key teams in the East that everyone's been talking about, right? Philly and Boston and now Toronto. What do you make of the Raptors and their place in the conference?
I really don't make nothing of this last night, what I seen. I mean, we're talking about a LeBron-less team. You know, these guys are trying to figure themselves out. You have two guys really are accustomed to the role that they were put in last night as George Hill and Kevin Love. Everybody else was just like, you know, we're trying to figure this thing out on the go. Kawhi, I mean, he was a little inconsistent. I like to see more of him, of dominating on the offensive end. Defensively, I know what he's going to bring to the table, but for me, I have to see Kawhi in a different system, able to take over basketball games outside of a pop system. I still don't. I'm kind of in between with that if he could do that.
Not me. I seen him. I mean, after 9 months of not playing, I seen him look the same way. I mean, you have your traditional rust, but he got the same shots that he usually gets. They put him in the same situations. He loves that mid-range, that elbow area, that T-Mac area, we like to call. But he got there, you know, and he makes threes. Obviously, defensively, he's going to be there. I'm a big fan of this Raptors team. I really do. I think that them and the Celtics are the class of the East. And they're gonna have a chance. They can play big. They can play small. They're gonna have a chance to be special.
How special? I don't think they have a chance to be as special as the Celtics. I just don't think they run that deep.
Right.
You know, there's a lot on Kyle Lowry's shoulder that he has to carry. Can he carry that load? You know, not having DeRozan, a role that, you know, Kawhi is stepping into where he has to be a scorer, a facilitator. Can he do that in this new role, this new system? I know there's a lot of things that needs to happen for me throughout the season that to make me feel that they're on the Celtics level. Right now, I'm saying no.
I do want to see the Lowry and Kawhi sort of chemistry develop because Kyle was so upset this summer when DeMar was so upset to be traded away, right? And the irony is that Lowry is so upset and supposedly ghosting Raptors management when he got a teammate who, you know, on paper is at least better and a better match for him than DeMar. So I want to see kind of how that develops over this season, too. I do want to get to some breaking news. This is going to impact basketball players at all levels of competition here. The G League says it will launch an enticing alternative to one and done. This is going to start next summer. It is a program called G League Select Contracts, which means prospects will be offered $125,000 salaries to play in the development league in their first year out of high school. So, look, we've had an NCAA commission recommending that one and done be done with. And the NBA has told teams that going into, I believe, is the 2022 draft, that they can start drafting some of these younger players. So, look, I'm talking to a guy who came straight out of high school, and I'm talking to a guy who played 4 years of college. Tell me what you guys think. Oh, 2 years. I'm sorry. Tell me what you think.
I think it's awesome. Yeah. I really do. It gives a kid an opportunity, one, to get that money legally now and be able to help your family for that year. Okay. You know, but not only that, hey, there you go with some grass right there.
Look at the part.
But not only that, though, Rach, like it gives that kid a chance to train, like really train like a pro.
Right.
And play against better talent than you would have played in going against, you know, these NCAA, some of these lower level teams. So I think it's an awesome alternative. I think it's a way to keep our guys here, you know, and not going overseas to get money.
This might suck for college, you know, some of these top teams. I mean, you're talking about elite players. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of us come from, you know, real poor situations. And, you know, you're talking about a kid.
By the way, you don't have to be really poor to have a $125,000 salary at 18 feel like a big deal. Like, that's a big deal to most 18-year-olds.
Right, but I'm saying that their family situation is not the best stable situation. And a kid just graduated from high school have the opportunity to, you know, receive $125,000 or go to college for a year or two. You know, I think a lot of these kids are going to take this leap right here to get that money the fast way to take care of their parents. And also, like Chauncey said, get the proper training to get ready for the NBA.
Right. Well, it's interesting, though, because we're looking at pictures of young Tracy there. You went straight into the NBA, which means that you were playing against grown men right? But you also were going into that NBA lifestyle. So you had the chartered airplanes and sort of the NBA, all the trappings of an NBA game. The G League is not glamorous, right? It's commercial flights and buses and things like that, and half-empty gyms and stuff like that.
They're coming from taking buses from this side of town to the other side of town
right,
for
but
a
Duke
game,
basketball
so that's okay.
is a different story. So I'm curious, and as you point out, Chauncey,
right,
they're getting paid. Well, is it for free, or are they really getting paid anyway?
You're already doing it in high school anyway,
yeah,
though.
Right.
So you don't have that experience of, chartering planes in college. You don't know about that.
Right.
So,
yep. Yeah, no, I mean, look, I can say I've been touting the G League as an alternative for a long time. And by the way, I absolutely think that a kid who turns 18 should be able to get paid to play basketball.
Of course.
I don't think they necessarily deserve to get a multi-million-dollar salary at 18. It's okay to maybe have that middle step of, hey, for a year, you can make a six-figure salary, and then at 19 you can get paid $3 or $4 million.
What do you mean they don't
I
deserve
disagree.
to make
Well,
millions?
so I just mean like this idea of they have to be eligible for the biggest, highest thing right away. I would be okay if you still said you can't get to the NBA until you're 19, which would preserve at least one level of like more of a veteran league. And then you'd say for that middle year, you could still get access to being paid for your labor, which these guys absolutely deserve to get. But maybe it's not millions and millions of dollars. Is that fair? I don't know. What do you guys think? You think that they should be allowed to get it no matter what they want?
There's no limitations on. I think there should be, just like minor league baseball. I mean, these guys sign $1 million deals coming out.
So you think that should be a two-way thing?
Absolutely.
Yep.
If they're assigned to a team, that team should have the rights for these guys, and they should be able to make $1 million coming out of high school.
I don't disagree at all.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll see. We'll see how this develops because obviously it's just the first step, right?
Yeah,
so,
but it's a good one.
It's a good one.
Very good first step.
Two more. All right. We will be back in just a minute. Here's